Hello and welcome to Business Spotlight Interview Series. I'm your host Sonali Nigam, and today I'm joined by Craig Bunting, co-founder of Bear. Hi, Craig. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey Sonali, thanks for having me. Really appreciate the invite.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much. So, would you like to kick us off with a brief background as to who you are and what you do?
So my name's Craig. I am the co-founder of a brand in the UK called Bear, and we operate 8 stores across the UK, serving coffee in the morning, brunch, and then through to cocktails, so your espresso martinis into the evening. And as well as that, on in the online store, which you can buy coffee online, you can buy tea online, and we deliver that to homes across the UK. So whether you're drinking a flat white in store or drinking a flat white in your home, you can be enjoying there.
That's wonderful. And as we were chatting before the interview about the journey that you've had in your careers and the amount of years of experience that you hold. So, what do you attribute your growth to, if I can ask?
Um, Trial and error and not being afraid to have a go. I think there's an element of risk, and we've taken risks in our journey. We've had ideas, which we could say is vision or dreams or whatever terminology you put to that. But we had something, we took a risk, we ran with it. During that journey, people have come on board with us and been part of that, added to that, and helped deliver that. So we're there because of a team effort. We started with my co-founder Michael, and it was an idea in my dad's shed with a coffee machine, and now we've got 8 stores. So yeah, it's trial and error and not being afraid to have a go.
Definitely you're not afraid. And it may sound easy when you said trial and error, but I'm sure there's a lot of efforts that have went behind this. So can I ask, what would you say are the biggest learning as an owner of the business running successfully?
Biggest learnings are, I guess, how to react and what to do when things don't go the way that maybe you planned, or something changes that is beyond necessarily your control. How do you react to that? What resource can you pull? How do you get your head out of like the noise, and make it through? And sometimes it might not be possible to make it through. Sometimes it might be an impossible situation, but I think you've got to have that resilience and that willingness to, and the doggedness to just try and figure it out. And I think that is entrepreneurial. That is the entrepreneurial mindset. That is like when you're risking everything, then you can't really afford to lose. So you have to just try and figure out a way through.
That's just wonderful. I mean, and that's inspiring as well. But I would also like to say there are a lot of business owners listening to you. So, what are some common misconceptions about running a business, and how do you address them?
I guess I want to make sure I can back it up with examples. I think I started a business with my one of my best friends from school. We started it together. We've known each other for years. We used to go on adventures together. We'd be the ones that would go snowboarding. If we last minute holiday, we'd do the adventure stuff together. So naturally, when I had this idea of starting a coffee shop, starting having a space of our own, the the first thing that I did was tell my friend, and to see if he wanted to go on this adventure, this journey, like with me and partner with me. And obviously he said yes, and this is where we are now. So for me, whether it's your best friend or whether it's someone else, I believe one of the successful things about Bear is the fact that we are a co-founded business as opposed to a single founder, because it can be quite a lonely journey. So one thing I would say is if there's someone to journey together with, then I would absolutely recommend that. And then secondly, I would say it's really important to know, like, whether you're a single founder or a co-founder, or there's more than two of you, there might be three of you. Who are you in the business from day one, and who do you want to be in the business as it grows? And that might change. You might have a different perspective as the business grows. But I knew from day one what I didn't want to be. And that was in a situation where so we worked really hard. We were building chairs in my garden. We were practicing the craft of making coffee. We were fitting out the shops, latexing floor. We were doing it all. It was our first shop, painting the shop front, nailing the sign to the. We were doing it all ourselves. The moment we opened after a very successful launch night with a queue all the way down the high street, that that evening I went home after the store had closed. It was just me and Michael left. We prepped to open the next day. And I went home. I had a little baby at the time that was less than 6 months old. And I just said to Lisa, what have I done? I'm trapped. I started a business. The idea of starting Bear was to create freedom and opportunity for me and Michael to grow something, go on a journey together, create something of our own, uh, and build something. But I actually immediately felt trapped. But what that did to me, even though it was very emotionally led, it was a late night. We'd been like, it was the realization of that whole journey to that point. It just made me sense check and say, what are we doing? What do we want to do this for? What do I look like as we're doing this? And it was to know that we were going to grow a business. It wasn't going to require me to open the door every single day. That isn't the business that I wanted to create. The moment
Right.
in time, it required us to open the door every day, to make the coffees, to learn and spend time in there. But the future of Bear wasn't me opening the shop in Uttoxeter every single day. The future was to grow a brand that I believe will be a global brand in the future. But let's start small.
Great. I love the story. And when you talked about your 5 months old, this brings to my next question. So, I mean, how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business? How do you strike that perfect balance between the personal life and the professional one?
I First thing, and it's taken a while to get to this point, as I accept that there isn't a perfect balance. That there isn't one. That balance, if you try and perfectly balance something, I just think you'll always fail, because that can't be how business works. You can't perfectly balance work and life, because the demands of work and life fluctuate. They change. They go through seasons. Having a 6 month old is very different than now. Isaac, my little boy, is 9. Having a 6 year old and a 9 year old, they're two different seasons of life. So the balance is different. Having a shop that is me and Michael and two other members of the team working in a store versus operating 8 stores across the UK with 130 plus people, an essential team, is very different. So the balance looks different. So I think what I've tried to do is focus on what do I, where am I trying to get to? How do I try to continually, I guess calibrate is probably a preferred word for me. In coffee, we calibrate a lot. We're calibrating scales. I think, continually recalibrating what balance might look like for me, knowing what my family might need. Sometimes, if there's a flood in one of the shops, which has happened before, pretty tough. Like I'm going to deal with it. Like I've got no choice. I have to deal with that situation. But on the flip side, I'm on a podcast this morning. My little cat is behind the screen. It's frosty outside, and I'm enjoying a nice cup of tea. So there's balance. There's balance, and I think you have to continue to calibrate and continue to rebalance. And I am forever learning what that is. I'm forever adjusting, and I'm asking my wife. I want to make sure I'm the best at home and I'm the best at work, and I just need to understand what both needs and try and address the balance as required. I don't nail it every time. If Lisa was here, I'm sure she'd say I work too much. It's always, it's subjective, and it's very difficult to do, but just try to do it.
Can I please say it is so well articulated and plus some transparent answers that you gave. So that was quite interesting. But then you mentioned an important aspect, which is, your team. You have a team of more than 130 members, if I'm correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I quickly ask what qualities do you look for in employees when you hire them, and how do you foster a positive and a productive work environment?
We have a bit of a brand tagline: good coffee, good people, good times. I want to work with good people. I want to work with people that have the best intentions. um People are going to make mistakes. It's inevitable. If I was to judge myself against perfection, I'm going to fail every single time. We're going to make mistakes. It's how we learn. It's whether we're making mistakes with the best intentions, whether we're trying, whether we're learning from our mistakes to try and better and continually improve ourselves, or what we're trying to deliver. So I just want to, without going into our core values and digging into what culture looks like at Bear too much, let's just summarize it. Good people. I want to work with good people that have a shared mindset, that can buy into where we want to take the business and how we want to get there, and have respect for each other, and the positions that they have within the business. But without the team, Bear wouldn't exist. It started in a shed with my best mate. It's 130 plus people across 8 stores. We have a central team. Bear wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the team that work every single day in lots of different roles to make this happen. And it's credit to them.
That's just wonderful how you give credit to your team, Craig. So, this takes me to the next question. So, we've touched about various aspects about your life. So, can I, and because we want this, this session to be full of learning, what are the challenges that you are facing currently, and how do you address them?
I guess I, I'm assuming this is going to go out relatively soon, so it'll still be relevant. But there's in the UK there's quite a few big changes around wage increases, around national insurance. It's affecting everyone in lots of different ways. The budget is hugely impacted the economy and impacted business. In particular, I feel like it's putting an incredible strain on hospitality, um, which which is honestly quite scary. And I've had conversations with lots of different people, how nervous they are. There will undoubtedly be opportunities to find, and that is the entrepreneur, the like doggedness in me that says we will figure a way through, but it's still quite a scary market to operate within. There's a lot of businesses that are struggling or have really sadly closed, because of some of the recent changes. We are no different than anyone else. We've got to figure out our way through by balancing what price looks like, like I guess demand will be, how they're going to be impacted, what does value look like, how do we continue to deliver the brand that we want to deliver in the way we want to deliver it, and I've got to give my team confidence that we can get there, together, because when you're in a market where businesses are going bankrupt, and you're in a market where big corporations are making ridiculous amounts of redundancies because of thing,
Yeah.
it can be a scary place to be. And I have
Yeah.
to make sure that I'm working my absolute butt off to keep the dream alive. And that's what I'll do every single day. But it's just, yeah, it's a challenging situation. We will get through because we have a team that are willing to put in the effort to get through, and we've got 130 people, that we care and love about, and we've got like 10,000 plus guests that visit us every week across our stores that we want to keep serving. But we've just got to figure out how we keep doing that with the changes that get thrown at us. I mean, reduce the VAT or do something that helps a sector that is so beautifully positioned on the high street to nurture social interaction. It's a blind by the government not to see what hospitality can do, but that's just me
Yes.
on my soapbox.
Craig, no, that is very inspirational. The way you have honestly put out the challenges and how you plan to deal with them. And I'm sure our audience have learned and picked up so many great things that you've shared. So, is there any closing remark before we wrap up?
I would say, just on that last note, just support your local hospitality, whether you're in business, whether you're not in business. There's challenges for all of us everywhere. Um, as technology improves, as we get lots of different progressions in lots of different area of technology, AI, all that kind of stuff, there's one thing that I think will forever remain available to us, and that is genuine and social interaction. And that happens in a coffee shop. It happens in your local pub. Just be with people, and that will support a hospitality industry that adds so much value. It creates so many jobs. It has such a massive impact on the economy. So I'd just say, go out, support your local coffee shop, support your local pub, eat out. If you can afford it, just be there and support it, so it remains in existence.
What a note to end the podcast on. Now, thank you so much for your time today, Craig. It was great meeting you and learning so much about your journey. And to everyone watching, I look forward to see you in my next episode. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you.